Hi everyone, and welcome to the Friday Five. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2, the Apostle Paul tells us that the Bible is in and of itself a revelation of the mind and the thoughts of God. So in essence, when we open the pages of our Bible, it is God teaching us about God. That's an amazing thought. And as we read through the Bible, we find a number of characteristics that we learn about God. God is powerful, God is all-knowing, God is love, God is light, God is kind. So many things that we read about. Well, a number of years ago, I heard someone say that in regard to redemption, there are 5 basic characteristics of God. In other words, all the characteristics of God can be summed up in these 5 when we think about the subject of redemption. The first and foremost is that of holiness. God is holy, therefore He urges us to be holy. But when man sinned, man violated the holiness of God, and that invoked another characteristic, and that is God's justice. Ezekiel tells us in Ezekiel 18, and Paul tells us in Romans chapter 6, that the soul that sins, it shall surely die, and the wages of sin is death. Those of us who violate God's holiness, we deserve death as a result. But God loves us. That's the third characteristic. Jesus says in John 3 and verse 16, the golden text of the Bible, that God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. Whosoever believes in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. God loves us too much to see us perish, and so He wanted to do something about it, and therefore He gave us mercy. Romans 11 says, God will show mercy to whom He will show mercy, quoting from the Old Testament. But mercy is not giving someone something or not doing to someone what they deserve. And so we deserve death, but God didn't want to do that. So He sent His Son Jesus to die in our stead. And that preserved His integrity or His truth. And that's the 5th characteristic that this person was talking about. So let's think about it a moment. Jesus comes and He dies in our stead. Because Jesus lived a perfect, sinless life, having been tempted in all points like as we are, yet without sin, He satisfied the holiness of God. But in dying that terrible death that He died, He who knew no sin made sin for us. He also satisfied the justice of God. And that displayed before us the love and the mercy of God while protecting the integrity of God. You see, you and I might die 1,000 deaths, and in some small, minute way we would satisfy the justice of God. But because we're sinners, we could never satisfy the holiness of God. Jesus does both. And Jesus not only represents that to God, but He represents God's love and mercy toward us. And we're told all about it in God's truth. What a magnificent message for us. And thanks be unto God for His unspeakable gift, 2 Corinthians 9 and verse 15. I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope it helps you to know and to understand God better. And I thank you for joining us for the Friday Five.